Now I gotta ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see behind me, we have a lovely little Jag. We are currently on location with the owner, so I'll bring the owner in because we need to talk about this car and why it is mega good value for money, why he bought it, just various other things because it's a V8 and we love V8s on this channel. Should we bring you in and show everybody your face? Here's your face. Zoom into the face. What's your name and where'd you come from? So this is your V-registered 1999?
1999 Jag S-Type with a V8.
V8. Hard to find.
Says even on the badge.
Does it? No way.
I love that.
Wow, that's so cool.
4 litre.
Of course we're going to start with a walk round because you're the owner, you know the car very well, and I feel like you're the best perspective of showing us that the badge has a 4 litre sign on it. I would never have known. So, why this?
Why this? Well,
Large
I
pause.
It's a really good question. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I guess the bottom line is the cheapest sort of V8 you can find for the money. Right? I mean, I had a budget of less than £2,000.
Oh wow!
And was looking for something with a big petrol V8, and this is the sort of thing that kept coming up.
Right. Okay. In what is gold?
Yeah, I think on the V5 it's beige, but
Beige.
anyone else they call it.
So you bought a beige Jaguar. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Yeah, nice. Of course you did. Of course you did. Love it. So we will look round. First thing I'm actually going to show everyone, and I've never noticed this, is this little duct piece down here. That's like, I've never noticed that bit here.
That's just for weight saving when you take
racing.
it on track.
Yeah, racing, nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. A bit of a controversial shape, I think, at the time, because they were trying to go old school with the look. It's sort of, I don't know if they pulled it off or they did pull it off. Do you like the way it looks? Is it a bit odd to you now in 2023?
I always hated the S-Type. Because
Yeah.
I've quite liked Jags. I think you said you like the XJs, the newer ones, and I love those as well. I always preferred the X-Type, which had a much less offensive grille.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that now I own it, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I think you just become accustomed to it very quickly.
To be fair, since being with you and being around it, I've growing to like it, but when I drive past them, I'm like, don't even take a second look at it.
Christmas tree collection.
Christmas tree collection, just come past us there. If you need your Christmas tree, they will take it. If you've still got it in mid-January, I mean, that's pretty lazy, isn't it? Let's be honest. Other things to point out, because I feel like there's not a lot of content on these cars. There is on your channel, don't get me wrong, but there isn't a lot on the internet, I don't think. So in regards to styling, what other parts do you really like about this? Because although it does look very old school, there are lines, there are curves, there are nice bits on this. I mean, you've got some side markers here.
I think the only interesting thing I can think of, I think the outside's actually fairly vanilla. It's quite boring.
Yeah, it's pretty
but
roundy.
At the back,
yeah, let's go around the back.
You look at the rear window and stand sort of here. It's just a very curved sort of.
Yeah, it does curve like that quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That part actually looks very similar to most Jaguars in this generation. Actually.
Yeah.
It's very convexed rear window, sloping rear boot.
It's like the BMW grille. That's the sort of
that is
Jaguar hallmark
of this generation. We have twin exhausts at the back as well, which is, I mean, it's nice.
You know it's a serious car when the twin exhaust. Right?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
The craziest modification of all is that I've got a number plate.
I love that you put a proper number plate on it. It's one of those things where if you see these cars without that, you then see it and think, well, that needs changing straight away. So I love that you've done that because it completes the look of this car, because these days you wouldn't necessarily find a car that would need a custom sized number plate. So I love that they did that back then.
Exactly. And I think so the most interesting thing about this, it costs 1,400 quid, which is pennies really for a car like this. But the spec, so on the outside you can see it's got rear parking sensors, which I think for a 1999 car is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then inside,
Look,
you have to excuse me, I have to put the key in the ignition, otherwise the alarm goes off.
Oh, does it? Is that a Jaguar feature from factory, or?
It might just be this Jaguar.
It might just be this Jaguar, yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous inside, and you have things like satellite navigation, heated seats. It's got a rear blind, which is electric.
Look at the rear blind. Let's look at this.
It's amazing. I'll tell you
absolutely fantastic. Here we go. It's just
taking its time.
when you don't need to see people and then you do need to see people all in one. It hasn't got rear blinds here though.
No, it doesn't.
That's more of an executive car sort of thing, next level up, I suppose.
My 7 Series had those.
Yeah.
They had a ridiculous amount of blinds, but
Yeah.
that's quite nice. That's the main one you need.
That's the only one you need these days, isn't it? I love the wooden steering wheel, the wood inside. The leather, I must admit, the leather is absolutely fantastic. Although we have our things in here, it is a car that's used. There's so much quality in here. Carpet on the doors as well. I mean, does it get any better than that?
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't, does it? Also, the white sort of ivory interior, I'm going to say, with the wood, and then with the brown, I'm going to say, even down to the plastics inside, it actually all sort of matches with the colour of the car.
I agree. To be honest with you, the reason I bought this car is because it was at a garage that was about a mile from my house.
So you were like, I'll just buy that.
Well, I'm like, that's a V8.
That's happening.
That's right there. I can go check it out. It was fine, and I loved it. But I think you're right. The spec with these colours, I've never seen one like this.
No.
The sort of, I don't know what this is. I've never seen one with this veneer.
Yeah.
And then a different one on the actual wheel and the central bit with the gear lever.
Although some people might not like the colours, I think it works as this car is. This car, if this was on like a BMW of the same generation, it just wouldn't work as well. Where because it's a Jag.
But I am an old man in it
anyways. I think we're just going to take it for a drive, mate. Should we look underneath the bonnet? Actually, I think that's a lot of. We need to show this part off. This is where.
Is the reason I bought the car.
Well, this is the best part.
Are you
so
ready?
the £1,400 Jaguar.
Hold your breath.
Hold your breath, here it comes. Whoa. So, 4 litre, naturally aspirated V8,
280 horsepower.
280 horsepower.
But it pulls quite nicely, you'll see in a minute, but it's quite a revvy engine. It's like an early BMW V8 where above £4,000 it just goes.
Just goes,
and it feels
yeah.
a lot quicker than it should be.
You don't really see many of these. I feel like they're sort of hard to come by in a sense.
Yeah, and also they then, I think in 2002, they got rid of the 4 litre and put in a 4.2. So there's not many around.
Would you say that this is reliable?
The engine itself has been absolutely sublime. I've had a coil pack changed on it and it's running smooth as anything. The only thing I've had, basically pretty much every sort of coolant component has gone wrong. I've had an expansion tank done, had a thermostat done, I've had some pipes done, some valley tube in the middle that's been done. So everything coolant related has exploded and needed replacing. But this car was basically sat for 10 years.
Right.
It did something like 5,000 or 6,000 miles in the last 10 years.
We'll put that down to that then more than anything. Rather than it being unreliable, it's more down to just it not being used.
Exactly.
Understandable. Well, we'll get on the road. We'll go and see what this is like. I want to jump in the driver's seat and see how I feel about a Jag. I haven't driven many,
You
if
should
I'm
have
honest.
one.
I should own
You
one.
could definitely pull it off.
Do you reckon I could?
Yeah,
I'm going to pull it off. Right, it's happening. Put a link below to beige Jaguars I can buy. Right, driving portion of the video. Here we are. We were just talking actually. We're not saying this is a bad thing, but we're finding it hard to get comfy in here. You've just said about that, haven't you? How lumbar might be a bit out. The seats don't go far back as far back as I thought they would.
No, but I just
It's
never.
not a negative. I'm just saying. You know, just saying.
I'm always adjusting it. I've never quite been comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. We only noticed that because we've owned other luxury whips. That's why.
Yeah.
So we're just going to pull out of the Waitrose because I mean, where else would you start the driving portion of a Jaguar video?
That's where I asked you to meet me.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I need to get things and stuff from Waitrose. I don't go anywhere else because I have a Jaguar, so
Exactly.
This is the only place I'm going to go. Do you know what the first thing is? How lovely is the wooden steering wheel? Oh, lovely, isn't it?
You can put a wooden steering wheel in any car,
It just
and
makes
I'll
it.
buy it.
Yeah, I'll buy it. Like, let's buy
Citroen
that.
AX,
Yeah.
wooden steering wheel.
Other things to point out is that the colour coding on the plastics and the here is really well done. And that sounds silly, but that colour
right, the way it matches.
is very, very good. I mean, shout out Jaguar for their colour coding. Smooth, isn't it?
It is smooth. There's a little bit of a knock.
Is it a knock or a knock from the suspension or a knock from the engine?
It's a suspension knock.
Oh, that's good. That's the main thing. That's all right then. So run us through what we've got in front of us because this is a V8 variant.
Yeah, so it's a 1999 S-Type, which I think is the first year they made this car.
Yeah.
And it's got a 4 litre V8 in it. It's a very early sort of Jaguar V8.
Luxury cars again. We're not shooting for 4 million horsepower out of a turbocharged blah blah blah.
Exactly.
This just will get you going. I'm assuming you'll really notice that V8 power on the motorway.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, when you put your foot down, it's like the high RPM. It's a really revvy engine, actually.
That's good. To be fair, 6,500 RPM red line.
It goes
That's quite a nice rev range, really, for a V8.
It
especially
sounds good too.
Yeah, especially a late 90s, early noughties built car.
Yeah.
I love the shade at the back.
Yeah, you've got
It's one of my favourite things. Just pop that down, see the peasants from behind, and then
I don't want to see them.
I don't want to see them in their Mercedes, having none of that.
Disgusting.
So, as spec-wise, can you get this very similar car for similar money, or are they hard to find? Because, and I'm going to say this now, I've never looked at these for sale ever in my life.
There's lots of. So they did a facelift in 2002.
Yep.
And then they changed this to like 4.2 litre V8. But this being the UK, especially during the noughties, everyone bought the diesels.
Yeah,
or the 3 litre petrol.
To be fair, that's where I thought it would have been.
So
most numbers would have come from.
Yeah, if you go on Auto Trader and look for an early V8 with this engine, there's only 3 or 4 for sale in the country at any one time, really. I've never seen more. So I think it is quite rare. It's
financially, if I was to buy one tomorrow, how much would I be looking for? Where would we be putting our money? How much would I be spending?
I would say 2 to 3 grand.
So you
Would
buying
get you
this
a-
one?
Yeah.
For, as you said on your channel, you said how much you paid for it?
1,400 quid.
14. That's a deal.
Can I just point out as
Surely.
well, there's a guy here that has 4 S-Types.
Yeah, he's actually living the Jaguar dream. How annoying is that? I mean,
I want to go and park this next to him and just
we're going to do that on the way home.
2 to 3 grand would probably get you a V8.
Yeah.
But there's not many of them, so it's hard to put a price on them, really.
He's one of those talking points where, why this car? It seems so odd, but it's also really cool because no one's got one like this, like, especially in these colours.
This is what happens when you go on Auto Trader or Facebook Marketplace and go max £2,000, minimum engine, 4 litres.
Yeah.
This comes up and you go, well, I'll have that then.
Yeah, well, that'll do. Because to be fair, if you're looking at S-classes,
Yeah.
you won't find a V8 one really that you want to buy for this money. LS400, similar everything basically.
Yeah.
They have gone up in price recently.
Yeah, they have,
I'm an LS fan and I have seen them just go mad on pricing, which is a shame. You're really, what else can you buy for the money?
The only thing that comes to mind is a really ropey early 7 Series, as in the E65.
And that's really gonna not be nice, is it?
Like a 745 with that.
Yeah.
But they are so unreliable.
Yeah.
So
I love that shape of BMW as well, and I think you've owned that shape, that similar shape, in the V12 variant, and although you've said you haven't had problems, I always see them being broken down for parts, so that can only mean one thing, that they are not as reliable as they're going to be.
Every bill you get with a car like that is over £1,000. I mean, that's the reality of it,
and where's the cut-off point of you going, right, I've had enough of this car, I'm done here, I don't want it anymore. So as an owner, as a last sort of segment of the drive, how much is it to own and actually experience this car? What would you say to the people out there that actually want to go and buy this thing? Financially, what are you paying out? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so in terms of like fuel economy, which is your sort of daily cost, it averages around 25 mpg, which is not horrendous, but it's, I've had much worse.
Outright, yeah.
For an early V8, I don't think that's so bad.
that's that
Look at
bad.
the size of the car and whatever. Reliability-wise, it's actually been, apart from, so I've had a load of coolant things to sort out with it.
Yeah.
I've spent £1,000 on fixing pretty much everything to do with the coolant.
Open stretch of road.
Go on.
Kick down. Oh, she's pulled
just
nice
goes.
and strong. Look at this. Okay, now I am genuinely impressed with that. What was that? 4th gear, 3rd gear, maybe?
Yeah, probably 4th, I think. Yeah.
That was genuinely getting.
And you have got the
some
old
power.
style.
Oh yeah, look at
Second,
this.
third,
Oh,
fourth.
so you can really get her down with a dig and second gear.
Exactly.
And just
Or you
throw
can
her
put it
through
into
the keys.
sports shift.
Sports?
Which
Does that make much of a
I
difference?
can't notice a single
Yeah, I
difference.
didn't think so. Yeah. It's the same as every luxury car from this era. They started introducing sport modes into things, and it doesn't do anything to the car.
no.
If anything, it holds onto the gears. That's all I've noticed.
Yeah, it just keeps them at a high
It's just like
RPM.
meh, like that. Yeah. So financially, though, we're talking 25 mpg.
Yeah.
How much is it to fill the tank?
It's a 60, I think it's 65 litre tank. It's not that bad, so it's probably about 90, 95 quid, I think, to fill it
That's
up.
not too bad.
But that'll get you around 300 miles. For example, my old V8 Range Rover,
Yeah,
that was
in
about
comparison.
180 quid to fill up, and that would do 350 miles.
Okay.
So this is quite a lot better.
It's
than
not
that.
that bad. So financially, not as bad as you think. It is saying average fuel of 15 mpg right now. So take that into consideration. It's because we've been putting it in sport mode.
That's all that button does, is it just reduces your mpg by 5.
Just like, and down it goes again.
Ride or